We're now welcoming Thomas Lembong on the talk. You're the chairman at the Indonesian Investment Coordination Board, or BKPM. Welcome to the talk.
Thank you for having me.
Why was it important for you to open and address the first Asian edition of this Mondial of the French Foreign Trade Advisors?
I think it's a number of things. There are historic things happening, such as actually the rise of hundreds of millions of people around Asia into the global middle class. And more immediately, I think in connection with today's event, I admit a lot of excitement myself on the election of President Emmanuel Macron. And at the same time, we have the fortunate coincidence that there's a lot of exciting things happening between French companies and Indonesian companies in the private sector sphere. So I thought it was really worth it for me to come and participate in this event.
What kind of message did you want to convey about Indonesia?
I think clearly that Indonesia is at the center of a lot of the dynamic trends around the Asia-Pacific region. If you look at, for example, the massive and historic One Belt, One Road infrastructure development program that China has launched, a good part of it runs through Indonesia, right? In particular, what is called the Maritime Silk Road, the 21st century Maritime Silk Road. A lot of it runs straight through Indonesia, through the Straits of Malacca, and we are an anchor for Southeast Asia and the Asia Pacific within these big programs and developments like One Belt, One Road.
France is a bit of a black sheep in terms of foreign trade compared to its main European counterparts. In which areas do you believe the bilateral relationship could improve? You mentioned the digital economy earlier. What else?
Absolutely. I think the transformation of the global economy through digital tools opens up a completely new set of opportunities. I think it opens the possibility of France and Indonesia leapfrogging altogether, right? Going beyond the traditional industries or reimagining old industries using digital tools. I think I prefer to look at themes or strengths, and I think there's no doubting in my mind the quality of French craftsmanship in machinery, in interiors, design, lifestyle. Only 2 days ago, our President Jokowi, addressed the annual meeting of our Indonesia Chambers of Commerce, and he raised the issue of, again, the hundreds of millions of people around Asia joining the global middle class. And what differentiates the global middle class is lifestyle. And nobody knows lifestyle like the French. So I think I'm very excited about the many possibilities for cooperation between French industry and Indonesian industry and commerce.
Let's talk about Indonesia for a while. The country, as many other countries are, is a pretty tough place to do business. What are the BKPM and the Indonesian government doing to actually improve the business environment and the business climate?
Yes, it's definitely a challenge that all of us developing countries are facing, right? We have to streamline the bureaucracy. We have to reduce corruption dramatically. And we just have to speed up everything. As President Jokowi has pointed out, in the era of digital, it's no longer that the large defeat the small, but rather that the fast defeat the slow. So we have to speed up everything. I think a few things. I think, of course, we cannot get away from the details, the nuts and bolts, customs procedures at the port, customs procedures at the airport, work permits for expatriate workers. It's now been 2 years since I joined the cabinet and therefore joined the bureaucracy. And we're continuing to work persistently and diligently to streamline the bureaucracy. Sorry to repeat or to come back to this again. I think using digital tools can speed things up dramatically. There's one legislation that says that for a permit to have legal validity, it needs the signature of a government official. Well, there's another law, fortunately, which provides a legal basis for digital signature. So we're designing a system where with one PIN or with one biometric verification, you should be able to issue 30 or 40 or 50 digital signatures in one go, right? So the legislation requirement is fulfilled. There's a signature using another legislation, which is digital signature, as a solution. So you have to be creative.
So after 2 years within the bureaucracy itself, you realize that it really needs the mental revolution that the president has been talking about?
Yes, at the root of all things is mindset, right? And we have to be honest. Because we're very rich in commodities, I think during the 10-year commodity boom from 2002 to circa 2012, we got lazy. Right, we got lazy. We allowed ourselves to become inward-looking. That is probably a tendency for most large countries like, Indonesia and USA and India and China. It's very difficult to generate a mindset that is internationally minded or outward-looking. However, thankfully, the commodities boom is long behind us, and we are working hard to find alternative engines of growth for the economy. And as luck would have it, along comes the digital revolution, which I think creates a lot of new opportunity.
One last question. Indonesia does seem to sometimes be balancing between economic protectionism on one side and a necessity to attract foreign direct investment on the other side. What is your stand on this?
Well, aren't we all trying to balance between those elements who want to close down and turn inward, and those elements that want to open up and be international? Look, I'm a strong proponent of President Jokowi's very practical, realistic outlook on life. As he pointed out about 2 or 3 weeks ago, the internet knows no borders. We now live effectively in a borderless world, right? So it's an illusion that you can close yourself off or that you can protect. Because what will happen is our own citizens will leave us behind. They will go to the internet. They will find the best products and the best services, regardless where they are located or where they are based. That's why there's such urgency for us to deregulate and to modernize our bureaucracy and our rules and regulations so that it is easy and attractive to be in the formal sector, to be inside Indonesia. Because if we don't do that, everybody's just going to leave us and move their activity to cyberspace. And that is a reality.
Thank you very much, Thomas Lembong.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.